Madame Toulouse. Tell me, is it true that you are the wife of Letrec, the prominent French sugar merchant from Saint Martinique?
Oui, oui, but of course, what is it that you would like to know about my husband and his business?
Well, first off, to whom exactly does your husband sell sugar and molasses?
He primarily sells it to the North American colonists from New England, of course.
Why doesn't he sell it to the home market, France? Surely he could make a lot of money by selling it back to his own country.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Those silly brandy makers back home, they don't want to have rum distillers carrying in on their action. So they convince France to pass a law forbidding the sale of molasses from the French West Indies and France. Crazy, no?
Well, I must say that is quite absurd. How is it that Letrec is able to make ends meet if he does not have the home market to turn to?
Oh, he sells tons of molasses to the New Englanders. We on the island have no real need for it since we are banned from making rum to sell. So the North American colonies make decent use of it.
Yes, so I've heard. Why is it that the North Americans can purchase molasses for such a low price in the French West Indies compared to the British West Indies?
As I said before, we on the islands have no market for rum, so we do not need molasses. It is like garbage to us. We have so much of it for making sugar, but do not want the waste that is created from the refining process. So we trade it for whatever we can get, such as plantation supplies.
Arr. Arr.
Okay.
Arr.
I'm going to get right to the point. Why do you smuggle molasses rather than follow the law set down by the Molasses Act? Is it the adventure, the intrigue, the romance?
Well, actually, it's mostly just a way to avoid paying the hefty tariffs that the Parliament has so generously imposed upon us. As much as I'd love to be able to call myself a law-abiding colonist, the fees for bringing in molasses from the French West Indies are prohibitively high.
Why do you think that is?
But with those old stodgy Parliament members, they just want to get more money in their greedy little palms.
The way I hear it, members of Parliament are quite happy to buy cheap rum off the New England distillers, so they aren't really enforcing the act. They just passed it to appease some of the smaller sugar planters on Barbados and Jamaica.
Yes, I can see that happening. Well, makes it all the easier for me to get around the pricey fines, though it's still all rather about greed, isn't it? Wanting more rum for less, wanting cash in their pockets. It's all the same, wouldn't you say?
How did the 7 Years' War affect your rum making?
Well, it made it somewhat more expensive.
How so?
Because the British and French were such bitter rivals. The British had ships stationed in French ports. This proved rather inconvenient for a New England merchant who didn't want his goods confiscated or his ships fired upon when purchasing French molasses.
Whatever did you do?
Do? What did I do? I'll tell you what I did. I had to travel to free trade ports, such as Monte Cristi, to purchase French molasses, rather than traveling directly to the French ports themselves. Dreadful for business, to say the least.
Why, pray tell, did you petition to have the Sugar Act repealed?
It was overbearing. It was shutting down our trade. It was that taxation without representation you keep hearing about.
Were you successful?
We were. In 1766, Parliament revised the Act. The tariff on French molasses was lowered to only 1 penny per gallon. If Parliament had listened to Richard Partridge's petition regarding the Molasses Act in 1733, we would not have had to go through all this over the past 3 decades.
Yes, indeed. Well, it is fantastic that you managed to have the Act revised this time round.
Yes, this was a great success. However, new unreasonable tariffs have recently been imposed, such as the Stamp Act and the rest of the intolerable acts. But know this, we will continue to fight until all of the wrongs have been righted.
Drink up, me hearty yo-ho.
Fire beneath the main vat of the pot still. The steam should then go up through the worm, copper tubing, which must be cooled at all times so that the steam will condense.
Are you bored, my dear?
Quite so, indeed, my good sir.
Yes, indeed. Quite so. Arr!
Well, I say, so that's your line, because you
I
kept
can't
saying,
remember what to say. I forgot now.